Hello Year 10 students, this is Mr Wyndon here to talk quickly about legal studies. Legal studies is the Category A course that is popular with students looking to get both an ATAR, but also for those students just looking to learn about the law and how it works. This slide shows you the three main parts of the course in terms of things that students are aiming to understand. Things like legal institutions like the courts and Parliament and the United Nations. That's more about how the law is made. The second part is looking at concepts like justice, fairness and equality, because that's what we'd expect from our law. And we look at some examples to demonstrate fairness, equality and justice. And finally, law is constantly changing due to reforms as a result of changing technologies and social values. And we look at things like euthanasia or same-sex marriage where laws have changed as illustrative examples. This is the Year 11 course where you can see there's three main parts. The legal system, again, is more about how the law is made, looking at the courts and the Parliament, as well as looking at law reform. The second part's about the individual law, looking at essentially people's rights and in particular human rights, but also if there's a dispute within the law, how that dispute is resolved. And finally, law and practice is looking at actual cases and looking at decisions that are interest to students and certainly that may be contemporary in nature. The Year 12 course, crime certainly is the main part of that course to begin with, where students would look at how crime's investigated, the trial process, sentencing and punishment, and contemporary examples where reform to those three areas have occurred. Young offenders and international crimes also part of the crime topic. Human rights certainly is the idea of international treaties through the United Nations, such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, is looked at, how human rights are protected in Australia, and also a case study of a human rights issue like capital punishment or human trafficking. Our options, there's two options that we do. Now, at this school at Tomaree, we do family and world order. Family law is the law that relates to marriage and divorce in relation to parents and children, the rights and responsibilities of both parents and children, and also things like birth technologies, surrogacy, sperm donation, as well as domestic violence is looked at as well. World order is more of an international perspective, looking at conflict across the globe, especially in the more recent years, since the end of the Cold War, the role of the United Nations and also international courts, and certainly a contemporary look at how disputes are resolved around the world today. This slide talks a bit about some of the things that you learn as a practical level in terms of buying a car or getting a passport. So some of those things, how the law operates for those individuals in terms of accessing the law for a particular thing they need to do. And finally, this slide just shows some of the professions or some of the careers that a person or a student may wish to engage in. But again, legal studies is not just about becoming a lawyer, it's about learning about the course as a whole. And certainly legal studies will help you with your research and your writing, and certainly problem solving, and certainly the skills that you develop in legal studies will help in a lot of vocations. Thanks for listening, Year 10. Enjoy.